And I sure have read the whole.
Hey, here we are. This here's Azriel Lawless, and I have roped myself another guest for you guys to listen to here on Hella Vella. Going to do a Lawless interview with me. This is Lesanda Moore. Please welcome her today. Hi, Lesanda. How you doing?
I'm great, great. I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, you're looking good. You're looking chipper. You're looking happy. This is great. I'm so happy to be able to interview you about your Vellas.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to ask you my famous first question because it's the
Okay.
one I'm so interested in with everybody. I want to know, when did you get started writing?
And I watched some of your interviews, of course, because I wanted to be prepared, to see what the environment was. And I love this question because I got two answers. I've been writing since I was a kid. I used to write stories and draw pictures, which I know now to be storyboards like dummies, because I actually write children's books as well. And I wrote poetry throughout high school and my 20s. I was just doing it as a hobby. I wasn't thinking of writing in terms of a career, so it wasn't until I was in my 30s, I say about mid 30, about 35. And I was in college at the time, going to school to be a teacher. And I just started doing a lot of research about writing, about story structure, character development, point of view, all that different stuff. So after a while, I was like, you've been researching for so long. Like, when are you just going to start writing? And I want to say it was 2020. I think it was 2020 NaNoWriMo is when I actually first started writing. And so I jumped onto that challenge and I did it like I couldn't believe it. I think I got to like 48,000 words, and then I had like a couple of thousand words in notes. So I was like, I can count this. This goes with that 50,000 words, because it's all about the book. So once I did that, I just felt like, okay, if you could do this in 30 days, like imagine, if you had more time to plan what you could actually accomplish. So that's what I've been doing since then.
So you didn't teach. You decided to go ahead and pursue writing, huh?
Well, I think the pandemic made that decision for me because I came out of school in December of 2019, and they shut everything down in March of 2020.
Oh, do I ever know it? It retired me.
Yeah. So my plan was initially to take off that 6 months, the first 6 months after I graduated, and then take a teaching position in the fall. But I wanted to move abroad and teach. So the plan was to find a teaching job abroad and teach. But hey, life had other plans. So here I am sitting at home.
I do know it. I had other plans too when the pandemic came.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So,
right.
But life has moved us onto,
Yes.
blown us onto a different course, sister. It's blown us onto a different course.
Absolutely.
So how have you been doing with your writing? When did you learn about Vella, and where did you hear about it?
Okay, so as far as my writing, like I said, I had started the first book in 2020 of November. So I wrote that in November. I put it to the side for a month. And then when the new year came in, I had, I mentioned that I write children's books. So I had written a children's book, my first children's book, and got it edited. And I hired an illustrator in January. So when the new year came in, I was like, okay, it's time to start, putting this stuff into practice. So I had planned out a series when I initially wrote the first book for Nano. So I don't know where I was going, but I was just thinking like, okay, if you're gonna write this book, you gotta, just listening to different authors talk about when you're coming out, the importance of having a series, so people can get adapt to your writing and into characters and see your flow or whatever. Yeah, so right. I was working on the second book in the series because I planned out a 3-book series. I was working on the second book in the series, and Amazon sends me an email about the Kindle Vella program and, possibly writing for the program and, inviting US-based authors to write. So I'm thinking like, well, I'm already writing this series now. I didn't want to, kind of get off course and start doing something else because I wanted to actually finish that series first.
Right.
So what I did was, since I always have all these stories going around in my brain, I just started jotting down notes. And I said, I'm going to use this for my Hella Vella project when I do get the chance to start it. So that's where Life Keep Throwing Me Stones came in. And I thought of the characters first. So every time I had free time in between working on my series, I would just, fill in different little things. And I think I wrote maybe the first 3 episodes and just left it alone. And I was like, when I get time to fully, get invested in it, then I'll revisit it. And that wasn't until, I want to say, February of this year.
Now, and that's your Vella called Life Keeps Throwing Me Stones.
Yeah, that's the first one.
All right. Now tell us a little bit about that one.
Life Keeps Throwing Me Stones is about a young lady that goes to HBCU. And when it first starts out, she's making her way to the dean's office because her grades are plummeting. And so she has to go in a meeting.
I don't know, what is HBCU? I don't know what it is.
A historically Black college and university.
Okay, cool.
So she's at an HBCU and she's been partying and hanging out with her friends, and her grades are plummeting a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So the dean is trying to let her know, like, you have to have your GPA at a certain average, or your grades at a certain average by the end of this semester, because you have to start student teaching. And because I just went through the whole thing with student teaching, I'm very familiar with, if you don't have a certain grades, you're not going to the next level. So in order to get into school to do the student teaching and finish your licensure exams, you have to jump through hoops, basically. So she was going through that process, and I don't want to tell too much of the story, but she has to get a tutor, and the tutor ends up being the guy that she's had a crush on since the beginning of school, but she never told him. So, yeah.
Okay, so her crush becomes her tutor.
Yes.
Okay, well, we can tell that much. Okay, that's a hooker. Okay. So her crush becomes her tutor. And now, how do you classify this? Is this traditional romance?
I would say contemporary romance. And I say contemporary because at first I didn't, like when I write, I love to write stories and I love them to be about love. I like to read about them. I love watching them in movies. So
I didn't know
how to classify it too much, but then when I learned more, it was like contemporary. That means it's happening like in our time period. So yeah, so it's contemporary romance, and it's I would say it's clean because anytime I fade to black, so it's nothing. It's not.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's my go-to for my romance writers. Is the bedroom door open or is it closed?
Yes. It's closed. But in the next story, in my second story, it's a little bit more. Yes, it's a little
crack in the door, and I can see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now your second story, what is that? I believe that's What the Heart Wants, right?
Yes, What the Heart Wants. And this story is, it's so crazy. This young lady is also a teacher, but she actually had been teaching for a few years. And she's supposed to go on a vacation with her boss, which is kind of her secret boyfriend because they can't, disclose the information at work. He's like the principal and she's one of the teachers. So she's supposed to go on a vacation with him, but she gets stood up. And it's this whole thing. So she ends up on a cruise at the last minute with her best friend from college. And while she's on the cruise, she meets this really, really fine Italian man, single dad. So, yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds nice, and it sounds like one I want that crack in the door for. Now, is that when you began writing stories, did pretty much romances? Do you knew what you wanted to write about love and now do you write about forever love, or do you write about I don't want to sound grim, but I mean, do you go ahead and write it when it's gone wrong and let it run its course like a slice of life, like a
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know, coming into the romance space is the readers are used to that happily ever after, or happily ever, for now. So some of them are like happily ever after, but for the most part, it's like happily for now. Because when I was mentioning before, like the series that I wrote, the first book is written in third person and it's written in 3 different POVs. So the main character, she gets her happily ever after in that book, and the other 2 characters get a happily for now. And so the next 2 books are written in their point of views in first person. One, the best friend, and the other one was the on again / off again ex-boyfriend. So it's like they can be read as standalones, but you can read the series as well. And I just like to take people on a journey and make sure that my characters are relatable, that people see themselves in these characters, or even if they don't like the characters in the beginning, by the time they finish the series, they'll have a level of understanding of who each of these people are and why they are the way they are. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote a romance a long time ago, and I called The Extraordinary Life of an Everyday Woman.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, it wouldn't sell, but I don't know. I was going to ask your opinion. It starts out, she's in a bad marriage. Your main character, she's in a bad marriage, not an abusive marriage, she's not getting beat up or anything.
Right.
And she winds up deciding to leave this man and leave this security that she's known.
Oh, okay.
And move somewhere else, right? And that's where she meets Mr. Right, Mr. Wonderful, blah blah blah. But it starts out she's in a not so great marriage, and I think that now people would like that. They would find that relatable and hopeful.
Absolutely. With the nature of the climate, how the market is, and just seeing the movies that people are watching and the shows that they're watching, it's a lot of women. It's sad to say, but it's a lot of women now that are realizing like they don't have to be in these relationships that they don't want to be in. They don't have to be stuck in these. It's women that's been married for 20 and 30 years and to people that they're not happy and they haven't been happy, and now it's like, okay, I don't know if it's like a little movement or what it is, but it's there. And I think it would do great in these times. I think so.
Maybe so.
I think so. And then with the pandemic, a lot of people that's been together breaking up from the pandemic. The pandemic is...
They were forced to be together so much.
Right.
They learned they didn't even like each other.
Didn't even like each other. Nope.
And I was like, whoa. My husband and I, we met at the end of 2019 and had just started dating at the pandemic. Wow. And so it really threw us together because, I was alone, he was alone. You might as well stay together. And, wow. And our relationship just blossomed, and we had all of summer of 2020. Yes. That was like the best summer since I was a teenager.
Right. And see, that's the thing. It's always a balance. It's like on the ends of the spectrum, you got one end of the spectrum where you got these people that have been together for a long time, and having to actually spend that time together. It was like, no, this isn't it. And then you got other people who the pandemic came and it pushed them together, and it's something beautiful came out of it. So
yeah, right. And we're married now.
Yeah, see,
we just got married March 12th.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I mean, we didn't rush into it because we didn't want to be like, okay, well, we don't want it to be something false that was only there for the pandemic.
Right.
So a couple of years, and we're like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, so thank you for your opinion on that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'm in the same boat as most of the other writers. It's like, see how successful you can be out on Kindle Vella monetarily, so you're out digging in stuff you've written a long time.
Right. And something about that too, now that because I just launched in March, and when I did, at the time, I was sitting the other day and I was thinking, like, when they first sent me the email, I hadn't published the first book, for the 3-book series that I did last year. And I could have put all those stories through there, but
Sure.
Now I'm just like, yeah, I could have put them through there, but now I know. So now, before I put my books out on Kindle Unlimited or even Kindle period, I'm putting them through Vella first, because I mean, like, let's be honest, even though I haven't been doing it for that long, I'll be getting my first bonus this month from Kindle Vella, and the amount that they paid, you know, even though it's not a lot, it's more than it was for any book that I launched. Even when I first launched it, or when I was, you know, self-promoting or whatever, just like that alone. So I'm thinking, like, and then I don't have to pay a cover designer, and then I don't got to pay a formatter. Like, it's a win-win situation. It's like I'm saving money and I'm getting paid, you know, so.
I'm looking at mine like I'm paying for my covers.
Yep, same.
I'm writing my Vellas. I'm paying
Yep.
for my covers. I'm getting opinions on the writing. And you know, that's the hardest thing to get right there, the real opinions. You don't want the unlocks. You want somebody to
somebody that's actually going to review it and tell you, because that's what I was thinking too. I said it's so many benefits, because I've talked to other writers and I asked them, you know, before it was launching, I said, are you gonna, you know, put some stories out on Kindle Vella? And a lot of them was like, no. Like, I pitched it to my fan base and they said they don't want it. And I'm just like, well, you can still do the same thing. You can keep your prices the same and everything. It's just a numbers game. You see how much tokens it is to unlock it, and then when you're writing your manuscript, you break it up into the point where whatever you charge the price for your book, so you're not overcharging them on Vella, you know, to unlock the episodes, you can work it out to where it's the same price.
Right.
So, you know, and they don't have to wait months for you to drop the next book.
And you can also put it out.
They don't understand. They can get your writing sooner. They can get your writing.
Did you know you can leave the whole thing up too?
Yeah. I found that out too, that you could leave it up, and then you could take it and put it into a book and put it in Kindle Program and Kindle Unlimited as well. You just have to post that it was previously published on Vella. I said, this is a no-brainer. Like, Amazon is practically giving you the opportunity. I tell people, I don't know, they probably think I'm crazy, but they'll see. I said, Amazon is making millionaires. Like, they're giving us the opportunity to potentially be millionaires, because this is a new program they're launching. So it makes me think that they're trying to move away from doing the print books altogether, because I mean, they have to deliver them, they have to print them. So I have the experience with that, and that's a lot of work. That's a lot of manpower they have to put in on their part. So if they put everything more digitized, then it's easier for them to get it out. It's less money they have to.
Yeah, especially if it's on their platform and they're taking it out.
Right.
But, you know, I still like these print books. I do. And
I do. I love print books as well. I do. I love how they look when they come.
They also have print on demand, so you don't have to print up a bunch.
Right.
You know, now here I'm going to show my ones that I've got. So I know you authors need to be sending me books.
Yes.
Here's a Hawk and Spider side.
Yes.
And here's my Naomi Alt shoe.
Yes, lovely.
Authors. These are Vella authors gone to paperback. And I built a whole friggin' shelf.
That's right.
Vella authors gone to paperback.
That's right. It's an amazing opportunity, because Amazon is giving you not only one chance for one of their platforms, they're giving you the chance to go on both of their platforms, and it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything for Amazon. Anything you publish on Amazon is nothing coming out of your pocket.
I know.
And for me, I'm creating a life where I can work from anywhere in the world. So Amazon is perfect. I don't have to have books on hand unless I'm doing an in-person event.
You and I just need to go ahead and move in together and conquer the freaking world, because we think alike.
Right. We're trying to live a life of ease. No more. Yeah. Working hard, those days is over. We're going to do stuff that we love to do and have fun doing it. And Amazon is going to help us make money.
Yeah, and you see this as a huge opportunity, which I do.
Absolutely. Because it gives us a chance to get readers. Like, I'm new, so I need readers. I need to, besides promoting on my social media or having to pay, you know, for advertisements, I need to find readers. Because the readers are out there, but it's just like we got to get to them.
Well, so what needs to happen, Lesanda. You need to, the way that the community works, the way the Kindle Vella community works, is you give and get. You give and get.
Yeah.
And you'll see it out there time and time and time again.
I love the groups. That I found so far. I'm so in love. Like, everybody's so welcoming. Everybody's so supportive. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing because when you're writing books and trying to get into the different groups and club, it's like sometimes they have cliques and they only have certain authors they want to keep in their groups, and it's just like, look, readers like to read. Avid readers can read 2 and 3 books in a day. So if you're not pumping out 2 and 3 books in a day, you can spare a little bit of your readers, So
Well, I tell you, this community, this writers community, apparently, because I know successful Kindle writers. I've said that a million times on my and I know one well enough that I speak to her, every couple days. Now, she said it is a very unique thing, and this spirit of camaraderie. This lets everybody help everybody else up on the road.
Right.
We're not rowing away from your ass hanging onto that headboard over there.
Right. Right.
And everybody's on the raft. So it is a wonderful sense of that. And there's just so many. There's dozens and dozens of Vella groups.
Yes, it is. Like I think I think I found like 2, and then I think by like the second week I had found about 3 more. So I think I'm in like 5 now. And
I Hella Vella, and
I absolutely love Hella Vella. I think I found you got Hella Vella maybe about 2. What was it, the last week in April or the beginning of May? Not too long ago, and I found it, and I was like, oh, I love this one. This is awesome. Like you give the post where you post a post and then you read other people's. It gives you the opportunity to look through and pick, like, okay, that's my speed. I know I'm like that. Let me, instead of just, because I like to be authentic. I don't want to tell somebody, okay, I'm gonna read your story, and then if I'm not enjoying it, then it's all fine and dandy. But you really want to find somebody that's actually gonna enjoy what you're
I tell you, I've started this group in Hella Vella. It's a subgroup to Hella Vella.
Okay.
And it's very exclusive. It's very exclusive because I call it the ring.
Oh, okay.
And we're only taking 20 members each time.
Okay.
And everybody gets assigned a story to read.
Okay.
And you commit to reading either 25 episodes.
Okay.
Or 300 tokens.
Okay.
Of reading, and you commit to giving a report to that writer, like a book report. Okay. And this is a commitment to actually read. And the subgroup, man, the first one has gone so well.
I know, I can imagine.
And today is the day that we turn in our reports to each other.
Okay.
And I'm so excited by this because everyone has done such a crazy good job. They've all been adults. You know how scared I was after you go to college and you have team projects and stuff, and you
please don't remind me.
You're just like, shit, man, I don't want to do that again. But these people have all been wonderful, and there's also been a second show that has branched off of it because one of the people in there is also an editor.
Okay.
He's going to do a show on Hella Vella, called Eric Eisen's First 3.
Okay.
He reads the first 3 episodes. And the writer is also on the Zoom. I ask him the questions just to prompt him, but then he goes and he tells that writer how he felt about reading those first 3 episodes and what he felt was good and what he felt could use a little massage. Okay. And then at the end, the writer gets to ask him 2 free-form questions, as a reader of their serial. And so that's the show that got born out of this group. So if you're on Hella Vella, watch for my post because I'll be posting up for the second ring to run. Okay, I will, definitely. The first one is complete now. And I think every member of this got something really valuable out of it.
Yes, absolutely. That's
wonderful. So watch for the post. I take the first 20 and I assign numbers to everybody, and then I come over here and I find the serials that they write.
Okay.
The only thing I might do differently this time is ask these folks what they like
Right.
to read and maybe match them up better than I did this time.
Okay.
I know I got some people who were like, I don't ever read fantasy. And I'm like, well, you're just going to have to, okay? Pretend you're in college.
Right.
It's assigned and there you go.
Right. Yes, you have to because I know I had made a post before and I was like, romance reads, put your romance reads, and a lot of people didn't, post, and it wasn't because, sometimes I don't think that people we learn about our genres, but it's so many different subgenres and things, right? Yeah. So I don't think that a lot of people realize that they actually write romance. Like some people, they don't think they write romance because they'll have like different elements in it and they'll lean more towards that as their genre, their main genre. But a lot more people write romance than they think.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah, and so when I get into some of the stories and I'll say, okay, I'll pick up some fantasy stories and different stories, and you'd be surprised, like, I like to read everything, but even more so now with Vella, it gives me a chance to get engulfed in so many different kinds of stories. Like I found I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, so I'm like, when did you go put out another episode? Like
where did you come up with this stuff?
I really love it because it's like, to me, it's not work. Like when you love to read and write and then you can do that as your job, basically you can turn it into a career. It's like, it's not working. It's life, So when I found the groups and I was like, oh, and they want reading and they gonna read my, this is it. So I keep a little book and I got the book written down and I got all the stories, that I'm reading and what episodes I read that day and stuff. So.
Oh my God, that's exciting. Now, see, that's the one thing I can't ask a romance writer, where you come up with your ideas, because
Right.
Yes. Well, so I won't ask you that, but you do have your 2 serials out there, What the Heart Wants and Life Keeps Throwing Me Stones.
Yes.
And what's the average length of your episodes, would you say?
I do between, some episodes might be just barely breaking the 600 mark, but I try to keep them below 1,200.
Okay.
Below 1,200 words.
I think that's smart.
And I noticed that because when I'm reading them, and sometimes when you're reading and you scroll, I usually read on my phone. So if I'm looking on that little screen and then I'm scrolling, it's only so many times that I'm going to want to scroll, and then my attention is, going to be elsewhere. So yeah. I figured between 600 and 1,200 words was the perfect length. And it wouldn't charge people too much. It wouldn't charge them too much tokens. Like I want people to be able to read my stories and not break the bank, to feel like, oh my goodness, I gotta, I want you to be able to read the stories. Hey, sometimes you have to give them up for free. On Amazon, when my books that are in Kindle Unlimited, I have to give those away for free to draw in readers. So that's whole books, so.
Yeah, I know, and it's rough, but I'm smart with that short episode. Spent a long time talking to my last interviewee. We were both like lamenting the fact that we made our episodes too long.
Right.
And we were trying to decide if maybe one of us should get on the phone with Amazon and ask them to take our serial down so that we could chop it up better.
Well, you can edit your episodes though, so you can go.
No. You couldn't be able to do that. You even if you found a good place to like chop episode 1.
Got you.
It's gonna
take a while.
Being really funky. And,
right. Gotcha.
But they only take them down for certain reasons, and I'm not even sure they do it for you. So you know what? Hey, what's done is done. It's just beginning. It's still in beta. We're just learning, so it's a learning game. We know what do well, because it's like we said, it's still in beta. So we don't know. The longer episodes might work better for certain genres. So, if it's a certain genre, like the fantasy stuff, they have a lot of world building and all that, so they need the extra space to fill that stuff in. Yeah, they do. I think maybe it all depends on the genre, honestly. And it's like free reign. It's like you can do what you want. If Amazon says between 600 and 5,000, then hey, but you just got to think about
people looking at it in terms of, oh, you 40 tokens. Wow.
Yeah, that's yeah. And I'm glad I don't have any. I don't think I have any that go up into the 40.
Right.
I think I get close, like maybe 31.
Okay.
But anywho, so that was something we were talking about, neither here nor there. And but the next thing I want to ask you, since this is all about you, is what's next? What's on your work in progress list?
Ooh, I just got done in my writing group with a session before I got on with you, and I am working on a bad girl fall in love with cop story.
Ooh.
So yeah, this is. I was sitting here writing it, and I had like I said, I always have a bunch of stories going around in my head. So especially when I'm working on something. So instead of abandoning shit on those particular projects, I'll just keep notes, and I'll put working documents, and just have a little notebook. I keep a bunch of these little notebooks like this, and I just put tabs, and I start putting them with cute little washi tape and stuff, and I start putting in characters and just fill in brainstorming sessions. And I think that idea came to me last year, but I was working on so many projects, and then Hella Vella came up, and then that was another project, and then I had stuff waiting. I'm everything.
It's fun to be a writer, isn't it?
Yes, everything I'm producing this year, I started last year. My children's book I released this year. I wrote that, edited, got it illustrated last year. I just got it formatted and published it a few months ago. Like a lot of the book, all my stuff, I started working on this stuff last year. So
show the children's book if you have it.
Oh, sure. Give me 1 second, okay?
Not showing her books. Can you imagine? Oh my Lord, I'd have them taped to my body. I'm like, hey, yeah, that's not my face. That's my recently published children's book. Do you like it? Hey. Yeah. So this was the first one that I published last year, and it's that's cute.
It's for friendship, about moving and making new friends. And this is the one I published this year. It's called Rosie and the Unicorn Skates.
Oh, I love it. Now, can we put links to those in your video description? Okay, because I want those. So be sure and send those to me so I can have them cut out from the rest of the. I got your link tree, so I guess I can pull them off your link tree. Yeah, you can
go on my link tree and go on, either click on my website or go to my Amazon author page. It will be, you can click on right on the Amazon author page. It'll take you there, and all my books are up there. So
all right. Well, I'm just going to link directly to the books.
Okay.
And I'll link, because I want people to buy your books. That's what I want.
Okay.
We're all about that. So, and I asked my authors that I interviewed, please go ahead and make sure you follow this freaking channel.
Yes, I did. I subscribed.
Oh yeah, subscribe. It's such a pain in the ass. I mean, to remember to subscribe. You got to, and you got to tell your friends, and you got to put this up on socials when it comes out.
Absolutely.
So you are such a sharp gal, and you got in here and you decided to go in and start reading folks and see what was going on. So I have a segment here where I always ask, who are the other authors that you have read? Would you like to shout out 3 authors for me? Okay, so because I am not always good with names, I told you I have a book and I got the names of the stories. Like I got the story names, right? And they are in the Hella Vella community, so it's you'll definitely recognize a lot of the stories. Like, wow, I got pages, but I'm just you said 3. Ooh. I'll give you 4.
Okay. So definitely Something Sultry by Jessica Woods. Something Sultry.
Ooh.
Or is it Jessica Brown? Jessica Brown.
Gotcha.
And it's just so many. Oh my goodness. Okay, hey Nicky. Yeah, Nicky. Remember that song? Hey Nick. What was it? I think it was maybe Hey Nicky, but I think she's doing a spin on it like Hey Nicky. It's really cute. It's this really cute teenage story. And I think it's by Lilly Skyy.
Okay.
And wow. Shot of Love
Shot of Love.
Yes, and I cannot remember her name, the young lady that writes that story, but I love it, and I think it's only about like 6 episodes, and I'm waiting for more. I'm just like, okay. It's so good. It's so good. It's about this girl and a guy who meet in a bar and have a one night stand, and then they run into each other a couple of years later. It's so good, so good. But I cannot remember her name. And
that would be a cool story, right?
It is. It is.
Her name is Christina Poteet.
Yes. That's it. Yeah, Christina. That's it.
So Christina Poteet, and we have got 1, 2, and 3. I gave you a 4th.
Oh my gosh, and I feel so bad because I had started recording them, but I had been reading so many of them before that. But another one that I really like is like kind of suspense is Chance Hotel.
Well, I am loving your shout outs because I have never heard of any of these people.
Oh yes.
We need to get these people onto Hella Vella. We need to get these people in our group, and we need to get, I need to talk to them. I need to talk to everybody. Everybody needs to be on Hella Vella.
Yes, and Jessica Brown, she has it's a series like I think it's something sweet, something sultry, and she's getting ready to start the other one. I forget what the last one is, but she has another one called Yours Truly, and it's like about a stalker. It's like a stalker story, and that's good. Yeah, that's
all of these are reality stories, which is out of my. Yes. It's out of my bailiwick for what I normally read, but I do like them. Mm-hmm. I do like my real life, slice of life,
yes,
as well as my fantasy stories.
Right. I love fantasy stories too. It's just that sometimes when it's like really, I guess like real deep fantasy, like it take my mind, the way my mind works is too distracting, and it'll take me off of like, I guess, kind of the storyline, because I'm so busy thinking about all the other stuff that's going on in it. So.
I don't think I've ever confessed this, but I'm getting ready to confess something right here on Hella Vella. I didn't read Lord of the Rings.
I didn't either. I watched the movies. I loved them, but I did not read the books. I didn't.
I couldn't. I looked at them and I'm like reading them and I'm like,
right.
It was so dry. It was like being in Tutankhamun's tomb.
Yeah, exactly. So I know I would have put them down. I would have put those down. I can't do it. You gotta grab my attention. If you can grab my attention, if you can grab my attention in the beginning and hold it, then that's it. But the minute if you lose it, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Everybody in my social group had read it or said they did. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I lied too. I also did not read War and Peace.
I didn't read War and Peace either.
I did not read Tale of Two Cities. And
I think I did read Tale of Two Cities. I think I did.
Tale of Two Cities was assigned in school. And
I did.
With the Cliff Notes.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people.
I don't like a big old dry ass. Don't give that to me. I'm going to barf on it every time. I can't even get through to, I wind up reading the same sentence 45 times.
Right. And that's why I started writing novellas, because when I would read books and I'm like, okay, you got to about maybe 325. If you got 325 pages in the book, it better be a good 325 pages. But if not, please don't make me wait 320 or so pages to know what happens in the book. I just can't. I can't. So that's why I write novellas. And then Kindle Vella was perfect because I love writing novellas in shorter story form. So I was like, oh, this works. This is great. This is great.
Yeah. And so I love this story form. I love the fact that you get feedback as you go.
Yes.
And Amazon is currently being generous, so you get paid as you go.
Yeah.
And so hey, no downside over here.
Right. Right. Because I mean, when you think about Kindle Unlimited, when it first came out, I found out about Kindle Unlimited as a reader. So I was using it as a reader, but it had been out for many years. I know authors that have written and have done very well with Kindle Unlimited. I mean, they'll show you their reports. Like they were writing for Kindle Unlimited almost 10 years and they made over $1 million. So anytime Amazon come out with a new program, you need to get on it, because by the time everybody else find out about it, it's not that it's too late, but it's even that much harder.
Right. And we're at the very head of this thing.
Right.
We're in the vanguard, honey.
Absolutely.
So this is so exciting.
Yes.
Well, you learned about Kindle like January of 2021, and so you got yourself ready. You got right in, and I bet your numbers were up in July when they lit it up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
Well, I wish I would have, did more research on it, because I had a writing mentor and she's wrote over 100 books. I think she'll have her anniversary soon. She's written over 100 books. She's been writing for over a decade, and she does very well with Kindle Unlimited and all that stuff as well. But she told us, she said on Clubhouse, she was like, Kindle Unlimited got a new program. She was like, I'm putting together a class. Like, she did a whole class on how to write episodic fiction. And I paid for it, and I took the class and everything. So I was like, I'm definitely going to write for Kindle Vella, but I have to finish this series first. So she said anybody, if you're a seasoned writer, if you're a new writer, she said, get on it, because it's a new program. You can reach more readers. Like, what's there to lose? It's a win-win situation. It's not like you're paying money. She was like, you can get up there, you write in pen names. If you want to try and write in a different genre than your usual one and get new readers and different readers for that, you can use it that way. So
my dear friend, who's written over 60 novels in Kindle Unlimited, she's not coming.
Oh, wow.
Not coming, because she is reticent to do so because her readership has said they don't want to come. And I'm like, well, why don't you come on over anywho and write under a different name?
Yes.
That way you will amass followers under a different name out here. You won't tarnish that name out there. And she's like, no, I don't want to take away. She's very successful. She got pre-orders and stuff, people buy. And so she's very good at what she does, but I wish to heaven she would come on over here. Like you, I don't think that the latecomers are going to have as good of an experience.
No, because and I have a lot of people that I write with in my writing group. They live in Canada and other countries, and the main concern, the main thing they say about it, when I talk about it and when I'm writing in the writing groups and stuff, they'll say, oh, but it's not open to the international readers, it's not open to international authors. And I'm thinking, like, that's a bad thing for right now, but that's a plus for us US based authors. That's a plus. They're giving us the opportunity to get in here and get established and get in the program before they open it up to everybody else.
Yeah, right. So, and they did the same damn thing with Kindle.
Right. They did the same exact thing with Kindle. Exactly. So they're giving us the opportunity to get in there and get our name established on the platform. Yeah. And then once Amazon does start pushing it more and advertising it more, because they will. They're in process right now. Yes, they're in the process of getting all that stuff. That's why they asked us to do surveys, and they want to know what's working, what's not working. What do you want to see more of? They don't know, and they actually do check this stuff. They watch YouTube channels and they go into groups. If they really send people out and check this stuff, and they want to know. They want to hear from us. They want to hear from the readers. They want to know how they can make this stuff better. Yeah. So it's just going to keep growing. And I'm just grateful.
Let me ask you this question. This is another question I asked. If you had your hands on the switch, the control panel there at Kindle Vella, what would you do to improve the program right now?
I would say, because I'm already on Kindle Unlimited and I already have an Amazon author page for my books where I can put everything all in one, I would love for me to be able to list my Vellas on my author page, because I have people that follow me on my author page that don't know about Kindle Vella, and if they look up there to see what I'm releasing, it would let them know that I have Vellas, so they can go and read those instead of me having to have a whole author page with all of my stuff up there. But then I got to market my Vellas completely separately. So I wish,
that's a simple enough wish for your damn wish list. I think that should be, they should be able to do that pretty easily. So what?
And I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it eventually, because when they started, the fact that they're going to let us, after 30 days being on their platform, put them into ebook and paperback format on Kindle Unlimited, eventually they're going to, they're going to merge some of that stuff. So I do see that foresee that coming in the future too. So I think that eventually they'll have that option available too. So
anything else?
No, not really.
I don't either, really. I used to think I wanted it to have its own app, and then I've talked to other authors who are like, why would you want it to have its own app? If you were Amazon, you want the serials to be available with the novels.
Right.
So you want it to be all in one app. Well, that's right. From a business standpoint, that seems to be the way to go. And then I had people, then I said I wanted comments. Now I don't think I want comments. No, because these people. Yeah. Just let the smarter people.
Because, because I do read reviews. Of course, we all read reviews. And with Amazon has a customer base to where they have us, what do I want to call it? They have us, we look for reviews. Before we purchase anything from them, we look to see what the reviews say. Before we buy books, we look to see. So we're programmed to look for reviews, right? So like I read some of like the bigger names, more popular names on Vella, and I look through their reviews, and some of the reviews, like a lot of them, they're not even reviewing the story. Like you're not even reviewing the author. You're giving them a 1 because you don't understand how episodic fiction works. And you're upset because you got to read the next episode and the next episode. So you give a bad review to the author's story. Like, so the comments, so imagine if they were able to leave comments, like it would just be, no. You give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, don't give it a thumbs up.
There you go. If you don't like it, don't eat it. Shut up.
Right. And that's the beauty of Amazon, because you get the first 3 episodes free, just like on Kindle Unlimited. You get the first 3 chapters or so free. So you get a chance to see if you like it or not. So you don't got to get in there and say, oh, I read up to this, and that, and I didn't like, Yeah. If you don't know after the first 3 episodes if you're going to like it or not, then something's wrong.
Now you did bring up something makes me want to change it. Their return policy. I wish they only have like a 10-day return policy. That's it. Right. Don't turn it back in 10 days. You don't get it.
I don't even think they should have a return policy, honestly, because I don't know. Like as a reader myself, I bought books, and if I don't like it, I don't return it back. Hey, I bought it. Something made me buy it. It was just something about it I didn't like, so I didn't finish it. I don't return it, so that's the whole thing. They had that thing going on with TikTok not too long ago where they was doing the scam thing where people was getting books and returning them back like it was cool or something. Like it's not cool.
It's not cool, fool. Go to the library. They're
right, because the library still free books.
Authors. Well, anyway, so I can't believe how much time we've already sat here and yapped. I got to ask you my last question, and that is, what would you like to say to the folks, the readers who are going ahead and clicking on your work down here and having a looky-loo at not only your Bellas, but your children's book and whatnot? What would you like to say to them?
I just want to say thank you for taking this journey with me, because it's just the beginning, and I just can't wait to see where my writing takes me. And I'm always looking for new readers, and I'm always looking for, I'm making so many lifelong friends, and that's in readers and other writers in the community that I'm meeting along the way. So just come along and take this journey with me and watch as I grow as a writer. I promise you won't regret it. You'll learn about people, so much stuff about people you may didn't know. Through my writing, you'll learn about a whole diverse group of people, and it might change your mind how you view people in the world. So
that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, we have completed another Lawless interview here on Hella Vella, and we've been talking to Lesanda Moore over here. And I wish you every success with your writing out here on Hella Vella. Well, not Hella Vella. It's I've changed the name.
It's our world. It's a Hella Vella world. It's our world.
It's a Hella Vella world. It's our world. It's our world. So thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Let's wave bye-bye. We'll see you in another interview soon.